In this video we are going to talk about 15 crazy facts about Pablo Escobar. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Number 15. Rise to power. A teenager, Escobar began his criminal career while still living at home with his parents, who were farmers and teachers. According to some stories, his initial criminal venture was the sale of bogus credentials and certificates. His criminal activities eventually expanded to include faking report cards, smuggling radio equipment, and stealing tombstones with the intent of reselling them. Escobar was also a car thief, and it was this crime that culminated in his first arrest, which occurred in 1974. Shortly after, he established himself as a successful drug courier, and by the mid-1970s, he had played a role in the formation of the criminal organization that would eventually become known as the Medellín Cartel. Number 14. Mucho dinero. It was at its height of strength that the Medellín Cartel dominated the cocaine trade, generating an estimated $420 million a week in revenue and elevating its boss to the ranks of the world's wealthiest individuals. Escobar, who is estimated to be worth $25 billion, had plenty of money to spend, and he did so. His extravagant lifestyle featured private planes, opulent residences, as seen below, and extravagant parties, among other things. In the late 1980s, he reportedly promised to pay off his country's $10 billion debt in exchange for being exempted from any extradition treaties that could apply. In addition, while his family was on the run in 1992-93, Escobar is said to have burned $2 million to keep his daughter warm, according to media reports. Despite his best efforts, however, even Escobar was unable to spend all of the money, and much of it was stashed away in warehouses and field storage facilities. According to his brother, approximately 10%, or $2.1 billion, of the total was written off annually due to rat predation or natural disasters such as flooding. In some instances, it was simply misplaced. Number 13. Hacienda Nápoles. In addition to several luxurious residences, Hacienda Nápoles Escobar had a massive 7,000-acre estate in Colombia's capital city of Bogotá, which was named after the Italian city of Naples. The estate was located halfway between Bogotá and Medellín. It included a soccer field, dinosaur statues, artificial lakes, a bullfighting arena, the burned ruins of a classic car collection that had been destroyed by a rival cartel, an airstrip, a tennis court, and a zoo, all of which were reported to have cost $63 million. More on that later. Later, neighbors stole the estate, which today serves as a major tourist attraction thanks to the presence of the plane he used on his first cocaine haul to the United States atop its front gate. Number 12. King of the Jungle. Approximately 200 animals lived in Escobar's private zoo, which included elephants, ostriches, zebras, camels, and giraffes, among other species. Escobar's cocaine planes were used to smuggle a large number of the animals into the United States. Following his death in 1993, the majority of the creatures were relocated to zoos throughout the world. 4 hippopotamuses, on the other hand, were left behind. They quickly proliferated, and by 2016, there were upwards of 40 of them living in the region. The potentially hazardous creatures have caused damage to farms and concern among the inhabitants. Male hippos were castrated by the authorities in an effort to keep the population under control. Number 11. Robin Hood. Perhaps in an attempt to capture the favor of ordinary Colombians, Escobar became well known for his charity initiatives, earning him the nickname Robin Hood in the process. He constructed hospitals, stadiums, and low-income housing for the needy. He even lent his support to local soccer teams. When he was elected to an alternate seat in Colombia's Congress in 1982, it highlighted his widespread popularity among the country's citizens. Unfortunately, he was forced to retire 2 years later after a campaign to expose his illicit acts was launched. The justice minister, who was in charge of the operation, was assassinated. Number 10. Plata o plomo. Escobar's preferred method of dealing with problems was plata o plomo, which ruthlessness. According to reports, he was responsible for the deaths of approximately 4,000 people, many of them were police officers and government officials. In 1989, the cartel was accused of detonating a bomb on a plane that was carrying an alleged informant, and the investigation was launched. A total of 100 individuals died. Translates as silver or lead, bullets. In spite of his preference for one option over another, he had no qualms about choosing the latter, garnering him a reputation for. Number 9. La Catedral. In 1991, Escobar promised to turn himself into authorities if he might be given the opportunity to construct his own prison. Officials from Colombia, to their surprise, or perhaps not, agreed. As a result, the beautiful La Catedral was built. A nightclub, sauna, waterfall, and soccer field were among the amenities available at the facility, which also included telephones, laptops, and fax machines, among other things. Although officials initially considered keeping Escobar at La Catedral, when he tortured and killed 2 cartel members there, they chose to transfer him to a more inhumane facility. Number 8. The King is Muerto. Following his escape, the Colombian government, apparently with the assistance of United States agents and competing drug traffickers, started a huge manhunt for him. Escobar celebrated his 44th birthday, on December 2, 1993, according to reports, by indulging in cake, wine, and marijuana. The following day, his hiding place in Medellín was discovered. In the midst of the Colombian troops' assault on the building, Escobar and one of his bodyguards managed to escape to the top. Escobar was fatally shot during a high-speed chase and gunfire erupted. Some, on the other hand, have speculated that Escobar committed suicide. Number 7. Escobar's cartel pulled in unimaginable wealth. By the mid-1980s, the Medellín Cartel, which was created by Pablo Escobar, had seized control of the cocaine trade, with Escobar amassing enormous power and fortune. Private planes, expensive mansions, and extravagant parties were all part of his extravagant way of life. Escobar was unable to spend all of the money, and much of it was stashed away in warehouses and fields at the time. Number 6. He wanted to become the president of Colombia. Pablo Escobar was born in the Colombian town of Rio Negro. His father worked as a farmer, while his mother worked as an elementary school teacher in a rural setting. Pablo, on the other hand, had other ideas. At the age of 22, he used to boast to his buddies about how he would have amassed $1 million. He also aspired to be the president of the Republic of Colombia. Number 5. He spent $2,500 a month just to purchase rubber bands to wrap his money. At its peak, the Medellín drug cartel was importing 15 tons of cocaine per day to the United States, worth more than $500,000. Escobar became one of the world's wealthiest men. Because he had more unlawful money than he could deposit in banks, he stored bricks of cash in the warehouse, where 10% of it was lost due to rats eating it or water damage. According to his accountant, they spent $2,500 a month only on rubber bands to wrap around the cash. Number 4. He built a zoo and a lake for his family's recreation. Escobar bought 20 square kilometers of land near the little Colombian town of Puerto Triunfo, which comprised Hacienda Nápoles. For his and his family's enjoyment, he erected a zoo, a lake, and other structures. This location is claimed to have held drug-fueled parties attended by Colombia's most powerful and beautiful people. With refugees and hippos occupying the area, this utopia is now in ruins. Number 3. He was suspected for the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center. Escobar was the mastermind behind the bombing of Avianca Flight 203. He planned to assassinate Cesar Gaviria, the presidential contender in the 1990 elections. This attack resulted in the deaths of 110 individuals. Gaviria, on the other hand, was not aboard the plane and would go on to become Colombia's president. Escobar was also linked to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. This irritated him, and he wrote a letter to the U.S. government. Number 2. He started as a small thief. Pablo stole cars, sold counterfeit cigarettes and lottery tickets before becoming a drug lord, and once abducted a Medellín executive for $100,000 in ransom. Pablo became involved in the drug trade in the 1970s. In 1975, he assassinated local drug boss Fabio Restrepo, took over his enterprise, and expanded it. Soon, Escobar was in charge of all crime in Medellín, and he was in charge of 80% of the cocaine traffic to the United States. Number 1. Escobar smuggled 80 tons of cocaine per month to the United States. Initially, Pablo smuggled cocaine in old plane tires, and depending on the amount smuggled, a pilot could earn up to 500,000 pounds. Pablo is said to have trafficked 70 to 80 tons of cocaine per month from Colombia to the United States at one point. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.